Hi, everybody. I just want to welcome you to fifth grade for 2020 and back to school night distance learning edition slides. I wanted to walk you through the slides and give you some information before we had our back to school night presentation on Thursday. So here is some information for you. We're going to go ahead and start with the Google Classroom codes. So here is the code for the homeroom, which hopefully your child has already joined. If not, here is their homeroom code. And then I'll have a separate Google Classroom for math. That way we can keep the math work separate from the social studies and the science, since the math will be every day. Social studies and science will more be project-based, maybe some book work, but not necessarily every day will there be new postings and videos. My email is here as well, and this is the best way for you to contact me. You're welcome to still call the school office. I will be here in the classroom every single day. Here is a mock-up of our daily schedule. We are required to teach via synchronous or asynchronous learning for 240 minutes a day. This could include live teaching sessions, Google Meets, Zoom calls, their PE, their music time. It's also reading, classwork, homework. All of that time that they would spend in the classroom is converted to 240 minutes of distance learning a day. So they'll start every morning with a homeroom check-in. We have a math block, a break. They'll then have their ELA block, social studies, science, or music. Then they'll have a lunch break. They'll wrap up the day with either PE or music. And then they'll have some study hall, dream box reading time at the end of the day to kind of wrap up anything that they hadn't finished from the morning. Here is a weekly schedule at a glance. So I have blocked this into the different subjects. Every morning, the student should be getting into the hang of clicking into their Google Classroom for their homeroom, which is where we will be taking attendance. So there'll be a question posted under a topic for the day, and that's where they will go and click that they are here. After that, then they'll have some time to get into their math Google Classroom. And a math lesson could be a video that I have already posted for them that they would watch. And then after they watch a video, we might be getting together in a live Zoom meeting to do some work together, to go over the learning from the video, give the students a chance to answer questions. And then they may be doing some homework / classwork on their own after we meet together. The ELA block is pretty much the same. We're taking the first week and a half. Every student will be doing language arts with me in our homeroom. We're going to work through the first story in the Journeys textbook together, along with some spelling, vocabulary, and grammar. And then on the 17th, the second Monday at school, we will be able to take the reading inventory. Once we've taken the reading inventory, then students will be placed into ELA groups based on their levels. I will be teaching the Read 180 group. Mrs. Schlater, Mrs. Lawrence, and Mrs. Allard will also have an ELA group. So we will be starting that midweek, probably around the 19th of August. After ELA, you'll see the yellow or the blue for social studies and science, or on Thursdays, they have music. Their music teacher is Miss Mickelson, and she has a Google Classroom for them to join for that. They have a lunch break, and then after lunch is either music, PE, or a social studies and science block, depending on if it's Wednesday and Thursday, and then they'll wrap up PE on Friday. After that block of time, they again have their study hall, dream box, silent reading time. If they need to work on any math left over from the morning, some language arts work that they weren't able to finish, that's a really good time, kind of a 20-minute block for them to sit down and finish anything up that they need to. I'm planning on having an office hour, an open Zoom call, open Google Meet in the evening from 4 to 5. So if there's any students that aren't able to start working until later on in the day, if they by chance missed a Zoom call earlier in the day where we did some live instruction, if we need some tech help, help with a project, help with math that they weren't able to work on earlier, anything, that office hour is dedicated to anybody that needs to come in and get some help, parents or students. So you're welcome to check in during that 4 to 5 o'clock hour in the evening. I'll also be returning emails from 3 to 4. I will be outside of the classroom for that later hour. I'm also homeschooling or distance learning, teaching my 2 boys. So we're going to take the afternoon to do some work with them. And then I'll be back on for emails and Zoom calls in the evening. Attendance is going to be taken daily, as I've already mentioned. We are required by the district to take attendance this quarter. So a student will be able to mark that they are here via the post in their homeroom Google Classroom. Even if they cannot start working right at 8:30, please, if they're able to, pop into the Google Classroom, mark that they're here. And even if a lot of their learning and work don't take place until the afternoon or evening, they just need to every day make sure that they mark here in the Google Classroom. I will be checking to see if they're completing assignments or if they forget to check that they're here, but I see them on a Zoom call, I will mark them here. I just want them to get into the habit to check their homeroom first, click in, say that they are here, take a look at the schedule for the day in their homeroom, and then they'll be able to know when they have live Zoom meetings, when they have potentially music or PE. I'll remind them of that. So the homeroom Google Classroom is a great place to start first thing in the morning to just make sure that the students have a good idea of what's expected for that particular day. Content delivery, it's important to remember that the 4th quarter of last school year was crisis teaching. It wasn't new standards. It wasn't new material. The students weren't held accountable for what they were doing. That's not what we're doing now. So now new material and grade level standards are going to be taught every day. We understand as teachers that life happens, and there are going to be some days where it just doesn't work out that they make it into a Google Meet, or, an assignment slips through the cracks, or they need an extra day to turn things in. We get that, and we are going to be very flexible with those things. But it is important to also know that new content, new material will be delivered daily. So as much as possible, it's really important for your students to be in as many live Google teaching sessions or Zoom meetings as they can. If their teacher's holding small group times, to go there. If they have questions, to check in during those live times or office hours, to use their textbooks and any additional websites that we may be assigning work from. That is our way to assign content to them and to hopefully give them a lot of different ways to learn whatever material it is that we are teaching. We also will be grading just like we were back in the classroom. So assignments will be graded, tests and quizzes will be given. It is going to be the student's job, because 5th grade is a great chance to be more responsible, to start making sure that they're turning in work when it is due. Late work will be accepted if it needs to be. But again, since content is new every day, we don't want them to get behind. We want to try to keep up with what's going on. And if they do happen to get behind, we want students to reach out to their teachers to talk to us so that we can help catch them up and get them back on track. I will be keeping all of my grades online so that parents and students have access to see those grades. I will keep grades up to date in about a week or 2-week windows, so it might not be posted immediately after they turn in an assignment, but you should expect them within a week or so to be posted and kept accurate. You'll be able to access and see all of their grades for math, social studies, and science in the Aries parent portal. If you need any help logging into the Aries parent portal, or if you haven't done that before, please let me know and we will help you get logged in so you can see their grades. If there are times where we need to collect work or give packets, if we have projects that need to be assigned or novels for their language arts classes, we will have a homework turn-in and drop-off time. I will be able to pass out and collect work, so there will be minimal contact. Student work will be kept private, so there won't be an envelope or a folder that you have to go through and find your child's work. We will be able to pass that out to you. If we have those times, I will notify you in advance, and those pickup and drop-offs will normally happen on Fridays. Here is the information for their PE and music classes. They do have 2 more Google Classrooms to join, so they'll have a music Google Classroom and a PE Google Classroom for Miss Rose's. Their PE and music times are on the weekly schedule, and I will remind them to make sure they're checking in with those classrooms in their homeroom when they check in the morning. We will start platooning or leveling the students for language arts after we're able to take the RI, the reading inventory, on the 17th. As of right now, we're only going to be platooning for language arts. The rest of the subjects, besides music and PE, will be with me, their homeroom teacher. If we need to be pulling some small groups to differentiate, we will do that as well, especially for math. But for right now, we will break up into language arts groups starting again later in the week of the 17th. Here are some 5th grade math standards. You can go through and read those, but the one that's highlighted, fractions, is where we will start this year. If your student is a little weak on their multiplication facts and they do not have those memorized, that's a great place to start. There's tons of online tools to help them keep fresh with their multiplication facts and to have those quickly accessed so that they're able to better understand the math that we will be doing throughout the course of this year. Here is our ELA standards. Again, you may have heard of the race strategies started in the earlier grades where they're answering questions by restating, answering, citing evidence, and explaining their answers. We'll be doing persuasive essays as well as report writing and narratives. And the big focus throughout 5th grade is really to be able to find evidence from the text, to cite that evidence, and to explain using examples and details. Here is some video etiquette for when we're in Google Meets or Zoom sessions. They should always be muted. They need to be paying attention, tracking the speaker. It looks a little different now that we're on computers, but it is still just as important as when we were in the classroom. They need to be focused on what's going on in the meet, not on a different tab, playing games on their phone, playing video games, or something else while they're in a Google Meet. This is our in-class learning time. Unfortunately, we can't be in the classroom together, so these Google Meets or Zooms are really important to get that face-to-face time, to have that connection between myself and the students and between the students and one another. So I hope that they'll be able to join as many live sessions as possible and show that respectful behavior that we know all Larson stars have. I look so forward to this year. I know it's not starting as conventional as we all would have hoped. I'm hoping that we will be able to get to know each other through all of our live instructions, and I can't wait to see the amazing work that your students are able to put out during the course of this year. Please do not hesitate to email me, call the office if you have any questions or concerns, if you need help navigating through the different platforms, if you're having login trouble, any of those things. I am available for help whenever you need. So please do not hesitate to call or ask. I look forward again to our year. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I look forward to getting started on Monday. Thanks so much.